Welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. We'll begin in 40 seconds. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. As always, it's me, your host, Fearless Floyd, and did a new intro, so it's a little bit shorter than what I'm used to. So I do have Noel backstage, and as you see, we're going to talk about his upcoming speaking engagement at the Super Soldier Activation Conference in Orlando, Florida, October 8th through the 12th of this year. So it's coming up. 6 weeks away, a little under that. So I don't know if I will be there or not. I'm planning on going, but as of today, it's still up in the air. I have no clue. Just don't. I lost Noel. Sure did, didn't I? Well, while we're waiting on a Noel, I'm going to show you guys something real quick. Now he's coming back on slowly. Excuse me, got something in my throat. All right, we got Noel in the background. So I know Noel, excuse me, geez. I know Noel's a very spiritual man. Has, I'm not going to say a blood oath with God, but you probably could say that, but I'm not going to put words in his mouth. So I want to show you something because I always talk about all the trials and tribulations that I've been through, especially through the legal system. And tomorrow evening, I lost Noel again. He's having, they like to play with Noel. He probably had a problem all day until now. There he is. He popped back on. But tomorrow night, I have a guest coming on that I've had on my show before, probably about 6 months ago, Tawana Downing. And he has a new project coming up, and I'll get into that some more later in the show. But I just wanted to show you guys my own personal stuff. You know, this is what happened to me that I can show you in black and white, because it's one thing telling you guys, you know, oh, this happened. But when you see it in black and white, it's a completely different story. Whoops, let me blow that back up. Come on. There you go. And I think that's about as big as I can get it. But what you're looking at is, I don't know, I can't even see what page this is. It says page 66, but it's actually part of a findings of fact and conclusions of law by Harris County Criminal Court at law number 8, former Judge Jay Carahan. And I kept complaining because with my state writ of habeas corpus under Code of Criminal Procedure Article 1107, there's a timeline statutorily mandated in there that they have to follow. So the district clerk wasn't following the timeline with that. So this, what you're looking at, this case is an 1109. 1107 is the procedure that allows you to challenge a felony conviction via writ of habeas corpus. 1108 is the actual authority to challenge it. 1109 is the authority to challenge a misdemeanor conviction by way of writ habeas corpus. However, you would think there's an 1110, right, for the procedure, like 1107 goes to 1108. No. Well, between me and Senator now Houston Mayor Whitmire, yeah, we went round and round and round and round and round and round about that, because we went through several legislative sessions where no bill, no nothing. But what this says right here is, okay, and recognize the language. It's a judicial notice, which means everybody knows this, okay? It's almost taken for granted. It's like a legal maxim. The trial court judicially notices the fact that between 2004 and 2006, documents filed with the district clerk's office in the county criminal courts at law were routinely found stuffed in drawers, on shelves, or places other than the file of the case in which they belonged. Some were file marked, and some bore no official file mark. Absolutely. And this judge put this in the public record. And when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he did this. And I'm going to cover more on that particular item for you guys. But I wanted to show you that in black and frickin' white, how appalling this is. So imagine if you got a death penalty case out of Harris County, Texas, and you're sitting on death row and you're actually innocent, wrongfully convicted, and you're relying on that record. Now, tell me again how none of these Texas governors have executed an innocent man on death row. Tell me that. Answer me that. You can't. That's a perfect example of how evil, wicked, depraved that we have allowed to be governed. And we're going to keep getting it unless we make change. I'm proud to present Noel Benoist, former NSA whistleblower, man in black, Majestic 12, 13th seat, Majestic security clearance. And I don't even know how many that are from Majestic all the way down to top secret. But he may tell us that tonight. He was the intel source, one of the main intel sources for Ted Gunderson and all Ted Gunderson's investigation, and vice versa. They shared information and brought it out to the public as they could. Of course, most people don't even know who Noel is because, hey, when you have that type of authority, power, and security clearance and information, and you're trying to get it public, well, the last thing you want to do is, go stand up on the podium and go, yeah, it was me. So without further ado, the bad boy himself, Noel Benoist. How you doing, sir? Are you frozen? No, boy, he's frozen. I told you, those boys love to play with his stuff. They play with mine. He's popping back and forth. There he is.
There we go. Probably a lot of editing. We got the breaking up going on. Boys are very active.
Yeah, you're buffering.
Okay, smooth or
you're buffering like crazy. Yeah. I was going to try to remove me so he'd have a bigger bandwidth signal. But yeah, they like to mess with him. But here, let me throw the advertisement up here for you guys. This is the Super Soldier Activation Conference. If you're not familiar with the I don't know if he founded it, but he's definitely will be the host with the most, James Rink over at Super Soldier Talk. And Noel will be speaking one of these days. I have no idea the actual speaking schedule. He might know. So let me get that out of there and get him back on stage.
There we go.
That sounds better.
Now we're back. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Sound better?
Sounds better. You're still buffering a little bit, but yeah, I've been through this with a lot of my guests.
I hope when people see as much as we have to fight to get to the word out to them, I hope they realize how important it is. Man, I mean, this kind of stuff, constant, just does not happen on its own. You know? So hope people out there realize that.
Yeah, we ran into a lot of that.
The government don't want you to hear it. Yeah.
Yep, you're not going to hear it.
The government don't want you to hear it this bad. You need to be there and hear it.
Yep. So you got speaking engagement coming up right here.
Yep. And fortunately, I can speak. I had to learn loud enough to speak and have everybody hear me out in the field. So if they mess with the electronics at the conference, it doesn't matter because I can boom it out. And I've actually had a crowd of 5,000. And the guy in the back said he was hard of hearing and he could actually hear me. And that really made him happy. So it's, when you got these kind of battles, it's because there's meat and potatoes on the plate. You know? So
meat and potatoes.
Well, that's it.
Where?
Yeah. Yep. Matter of fact, we'll actually have we'll have a photo there of the first 12, and these guys keep harassing me, and then it gets me remembering more. But whenever I get together with James on his show and Misha, and with me, it's a miracle when I remember a name. But Misha and she started talking, and my memory is going, wait a minute, I know this story. And that's why I had to ask her. I said, what year was it? And she hit 67. And I said, that's it. And then that opened more memory too, because one of the reasons I made it where I did, the biggest reason, is because
buffering hardcore.
Ordering me to be there, and the guys would come or whatever, and I'd already be there. And there was, how is it you're always here before us when something happens, and you're always at the right place at the right time, and we haven't even called you yet, etc. And they could look at film footage and see that I had just arrived. Yeah, so I wasn't there organizing it or anything. And so they started, you've got something going spiritually. And they wanted to send me to this school in San Francisco, and then from there to Seattle, etc. And it involved remote viewing and all the other stuff, and using basically actually the wrong spirit to get things done. And they try to tie you in that way because, remember, Satan's a counterfeit. Well, a perfect counterfeit looks just like real McCoy. But for everything that there's a counterfeit of, there's got to be a real one somewhere. And that's where we need to that's why I tell everybody, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's Christianity or Baha'i or Hinduism or whatever it is. Religion is no good. That's a counterfeit of what God wants everybody to have. It's relationship. Gave so many different ways for people to realize that there's a God, and it's relationship. God wants to have individual relationships with individual people.
Right. So when you say religion, you're actually meaning organized religion, correct?
Any kind of religion, organized or other words. What's the difference is religion is anywhere from one or more people trying to control you. That's religion. If I came to you and I said, okay, you've got to wear a white shirt every day because God wants you to wear a white shirt every day. God didn't tell you that. That would be in the religion realm. That is people trying to make other people, like if I was a person trying to make other people what I think they should be. See, we can, as proper leaders, as proper ministry leaders, we can reflect the possibilities of interpretation for individuals, and we can reflect what the different things are that God gives us to learn from. But by way of example, I was following God as a government murdering whore. I thought I was serving God and country. Because I was trying to follow God, God brought me around. He let me see all of that. And what the devil intended for evil, what the master of evil intended for evil, God used for an awakening so me better than knows himself. So God used that, and what the devil wanted to turn me into a little devil. But God used that to where then I could see it, and I said, wait a minute, I'm backing up out of here. And now, as a leader for God, I know the enemy. I know God, I know the enemy, and God has given me many different ways to help people understand. One of the biggest problems that a lot of people could never understand is, wait a minute, there's supposed to be one God Almighty. But then you've got God Jesus Christ. You got God the Holy Spirit. You got God the Father. And they don't understand that. And God gave me a thing. Okay, think of an egg. An egg has three parts: eggshell, egg yolk, egg white. The egg white feeds the egg yolk, while the eggshell is protecting both. Then, when the egg yolk grows and gets strong enough, it becomes a chick, pecks its way out of the shell, and grows and learns to fly. See, many things are three in one. We are a three-part being. Every human being has a flesh, soul, and spirit. Flesh, like the eggshell. Soul feeds the spirit like feeds the egg yolk. And then the spirit gets strong, and the spirit and the soul united can overcome the flesh. That's how I broke free of all of that. I used to drink a half a gallon of whiskey a day, and I'd drink probably about a fifth of the Zwetschge schnapps over there in Germany, and I wouldn't be drunk. And I called it that it was partially self-medication because I got 5 partially herniated discs in my back, and I didn't want to take the real strong opiate, although they would give me those anytime I wanted. So I was in the middle of all of this evil, and yet, because I always loved God, and I was always looking for God, and I was always trying to learn whatever I could and bring something good out of it, eventually I blossomed in the right direction. And since then, I've had all kinds of miracles and just all kinds of stuff. I mean, a gal with no cornea, no retina, and she can see. I sent a film clip to James, and I think I sent you a copy too, where my spleen was removed, and I got the guy. I got on one of my deals. I think I've got the guy on tape, and I said, "Well, how come you can't just cut that cyst off the spleen?" And he said, "Because the spleen will not repair itself. If we took the cyst off the spleen, you'd bleed to death internally." So that's documented. And then I've got another exam. I think it's about 2 years later, and the doctor's going through the CAT scan, and he points to this round beautiful, round, perfect object of round, nice, clear, or pure white. And he said, that's not supposed to be there. And it was a brand new, perfectly healthy spleen. That stuff happens when we become what God wants us to become. And I've helped Hindu people find the fullness. I've helped Buddhists, and Buddha actually recognized it. He said, if you can find nirvana, which is the perfect state of nothingness, and John the Baptist said, I've got to decrease so Jesus can increase. Basically, the theme is when we get ourselves out of the way and we find the spiritual lessons that God wants us to learn, the things that God wants us to know, then nothing is impossible, because number one, we're going to want whatever God wants, and he's going to be there to help us. He's going to flow through us to help us, and we're going to know more how to open up and let God flow through us. And when God flows through us, he does wonderful things to us. And when something like that happens, I feel God flowing through me. I can feel the energy flow just going through me to the other person or whatever. So nobody, not even Satan himself, could convince me that when the dead were raised, I did that, mind over matter. It's similar to mind over matter, except that it's actually my mind and spirit connecting to God's mind and spirit, and then God overrides matter, and God will give me what to say, his words, and then he does it. And I've had the dead raised. I've had twisted legs. One little girl had a knee on the side instead of in front. And God had me wait. And we did a little Bible study and everything. And then most of the people left, and her little girlfriend were there. And I said, sweetheart, I said, I know you're a little self-conscious about your leg there and your knee. And I said, but how would you like to have God heal that? And she said, really? I said, yeah. And I said, I didn't want to say anything when people were here because I felt like you'd be self-conscious, maybe your girlfriend and you. And I said, you feel okay about it? She said, well, if it straightens out, then my leg's going to be longer. That leg will be longer than the other leg. I said, then we'll make the other leg grow, and you can walk out of here tonight about 2 or 3 inches taller than when you came in. She says, okay. And that literally, that thing, it went from like the side, and get the camera, it went from the side like this around to the front like this. And then I commanded the other leg to grow, and she and her little girlfriend got up, and she said, let's run around the house. They raced around the house, and the girl that had the bad leg came in, I mean, about 3 or 4 lengths in front of her girlfriend. And her little girlfriend said, man, she's faster than me now. I couldn't do that, not as Noel Benoist, and I'd never been able to do it as a man in black. God wouldn't honor the man in black, doing that number. But as God worked with me through my life, as I became what God wanted me to be, doors opened up. And I have more fun now. I can be drunk as a skunk without even drinking one single shot. I've been drunk in the spirit, with the spirit on me and everything. And there's times when I'm up around here and the spirit's on me, and I get up and I stumble and I weave because I'm deep in prayer. And when I'm deep in prayer, boy, the spirit's on me. I can, people would probably say, are you drinking? Yeah, herb tea, And so relationship is each individual growing and helping one another grow by, one, rightly dividing the words of God, 2, sharing the words of God in love, and seeking wisdom from God as to how can I tell this person what I'm feeling in a way that it will open understanding in them? And then let God use your voice, because God's the author and finisher. And when people start doing that, man, I don't have to worry about a person's life changing when a person starts doing that. Because a person starts doing that, the life's going to change. There's no two ways about it. Because I've gone down to the place where the junkies are and the mainliners and stuff, and I'll smack my arm and, hey man, mainline, hey, want a mainline little? And they look at me and go, oh yeah, man, what do you got? And then I'll do Jesus on that main line. Tell him what you want. Tell him what you want. Yeah, tell him what you want. And I have fun with it. We can have fun. See, that's another thing. Religion is normally not fun. But relationship with and in and under the power of God, man, it is a blast. It's a party beyond earthly parties. And so, and that's the only way we're going to win this, because if all of our people really start diving into the spirit and being spirit led, deep state would be shaking in their boots, scared half to death, and they would be in trouble. Because we could identify them, the Spirit will give us identification, and we would be basically laughing while deep state's got their pants on fire. No. So, yeah.
Hang on, I want to play a quick video for a second.
You got that video with the spleen?
No.
The FBI raided several church properties across the country this week, including one in Houston, as part of an investigation into alleged forced labor and money laundering. The Bureau confirmed to our news partner in Houston its agents conducted an operation at a former hotel in North Harris County. Federal prosecutors say it's one of 9 locations tied to the Kingdom of God Global Church. Authorities in North Carolina and Florida arrested the leaders of the alleged religious group yesterday. They're David Taylor and Michelle Brannon. Federal prosecutors say they ran call centers in Texas, Florida, Missouri, and Michigan. An indictment alleges the group operated like a forced labor trafficking ring, using physical and psychological abuse to pressure followers into raising millions of dollars under the guise of religion. The victims also allegedly were forced to sleep inside call centers and ministry houses. A man who works next to the Houston campus shared what he's seen.
So just kind of weird stuff. Seeing people from the window, and like whenever you notice them back, they kind of like look away or get away from the window. That's definitely odd. I never really saw anyone actually leave the place.
Federal prosecutors say the scheme has raked in $50 million in donations since 2014. A lot of that money, they say, was spent on luxury properties, cars, boats, jet skis, and ATVs.
Yep. The counterfeit can show up anywhere. Yeah. And that's what gets me. And matter of fact, I've been ripping at some of the Republican Party too, because I rip them both. I rip Democrats and Republicans. And when these Republicans get into more money, send us more money. You're not a Republican. You're not a conservative if you don't send us more money. I encourage people, rip them a new one. And I told him, I said, you know what? I told one guy today, and I ripped him, and I said, Jesus would love to scourge you right now. And I said, I'm a preacher, so I can't do much when it comes to a scourge because I don't want to end up in prison. And if I use the scourge that Jesus used, the scourge Jesus used was basically a lethal weapon even in his day. Cat o' nine tails, jagged pieces of bone and pottery to rip and tear meat, balls of steel and iron to bruise to the bone, hooks on those balls to rip off strips of skin, and nobody could be given 40 stripes unless they had the death penalty. And 80% of the ones that got 39 stripes didn't live. So that would be assault with intent to do great bodily harm, attempted murder, inciting a riot, destruction of private property, destruction of public property, all kinds of stuff. And so I told him, I said, the only thing I can use, even though I'm a preacher, but just to let you know how strongly I feel, the only scourge I can use is to throw a couple of curse words at you, and I let them have a few of them. And I told him, I said that, you know, I don't care if they're Republican, Democrat, or who they are a blot on Washington, D.C. They are a blot on public service when they are constantly pushing money, raise money, raise money, raise money. If you're not a Democrat if you don't donate, you're not a Republican if you don't donate. Everybody needs to blast those messages all the time. Matter of fact, then the guy sent me back a thing. He said, you have successfully unsubscribed. And I said, you have successfully resigned next election. And we need to start making a list. People sending that garbage out, name them, put them in public. And if we have to, we will start voting independent. We'll fill Washington, D.C. with a bunch of independents who can work together. If that's what it takes, by God, that's what we'll do.
You're sounding a little bit like Elon.
Hey, Elon.
That's what you sound like.
And Elon.
I hear an echo.
Well, with him, his AI, Elon finds a lot of times finds the right stuff to say, but I got a problem with Elon because his AI is smart enough that if I'm calling you, his AI knows my address, knows my web address, knows my URL, knows everything about the computer I'm on, and his AI knows it's me. So if I told you I'm President Trump, send me some money, his program should be able to say, you're talking to a fraud, keep this fraud going, we're going to locate where that phone number is, and we're going to send authorities. And I've already told Elon. Elon has not done anything to stop the fraud that is rampant. And I asked Elon and I asked President Trump, I'd like to know how many of these people committing fraud and all that jazz, how many of them are investing into Elon's venture? Is that why he's not doing it?
Can you hold your device still? Because it's shaking.
Yeah, that's my random fire nerves from that. That's from the, I got hit with Agent Orange, Camp Lejeune, everything. I got it all. Yeah.
Agent Orange, heroin, opium poppies.
Oh, man, I got my first day in the bush. As a matter of fact, I told the guys I'm first one in,
Bush.
even though I was the senior officer.
Bush. That's Vietnam, folks. So
yeah, that's Vietnam. Yeah, we called it the bush. My first day in the bush, and we were supposed to be like 13 feet off the ground, and you jump out kind of leaning backwards, you roll backwards over your pack, and then when you feel the ground hit your hand, you give a push and you pop up combat ready. You're in a combat ready position. And we were more than 13 feet off the ground. Every tooth in my head is cracked. But I rolled backwards over and everything, and then I pop up and I examine the bush quick, and then I give the signal for the rest of them to come. And I go over by this rubber tree plant, and it looked like it was plastic. So I rub my hands on it, and it's got this oily stuff all over. And I look up in the sky, and this mist is coming down. And I said, "What the heck is this?" They said, "Oh, that's Agent Orange, sir." I said, "Oh, great. What's this going to do to us?" They said, "Oh, it's just an antidefoliant. Doesn't do anything." So I said, "Right." I said, "What's what they find out in 20 years?" My firstborn has birth defects secondary to Agent Orange. And I've got nerve damage from Agent Orange, hearing damage from Agent Orange. And then whenever they put a great
hearing
big
damage?
group back over to Vietnam.
Did you say hearing damage?
Yeah, because the hearing nerves, some of the nerves in my hearing, your hearing has nerves that can get damaged and affect your hearing.
Wow. And Agent Orange can do that? That's
Yeah,
first I've heard of that. That's crazy. Wow.
And Agent Orange, yeah. Agent Orange did irreversible nerve damage But matter of fact, I used to wear great big hearing aids, and I prayed for a principal of a Christian school in Chicago. And whatever it was she had, I had, because I felt God move through me and move through her. And I had told the kids, I said, hey, if you've got something you need a healing, like a back healing or something, find somebody else that needs a back healing. Let your love and heart reach out to them. Pray for them. Let God move through you. When God moves through you, he does things to you. And lo and behold, the very next day, that evening, actually, the pastor principal had me pray for her. The next morning, I said, you remember what you kids, what I told you about praying for somebody, that's what you've got? And they said, yeah. And I said, well, your principal apparently had what I had, because I prayed for your principal last night and I felt God move, and I am not wearing my hearing aids today. And I held my hearing aids up, and the principal held her hearing aids up and said, I'm not wearing mine either. So as God moved through me to heal her, I got healed because we both had the same thing. So it's kind of like the backlash or the backblast of whatever, and it works, you know. And so my hearing, I don't have to wear hearing aids anymore. I got them. They're not in the ears anymore. Don't need that. But I've still got basically like some of the nerve damage in my extremities and that. So, you know, maybe I'll cross somebody, and if they'll have what I've got in that realm, I'll pray for them and then I'll get that healed too. But I didn't do it, and I don't do it for me. You have to do it actually for the other person. It's the altruistic agape love, caring about the other person, that then opens us up and we get it too. So that's the key. You know, selfish doesn't get it. I don't want to pray for you so I can get healed. Nope. The gong hits. Dong. That's the gong show.
That's the gong show.
You're out.
Right.
Yeah, you remember the old gong show?
Oh yeah. Chuck Barris. Who could forget that crazy ass show?
Yeah.
It's like Looney Tunes in the middle of the day.
I think he was trained in deceit. Yeah. I think that had to be an idea if they came out of DC or something.
Right.
They need that on the floor of the Senate. Yeah.
More than that.
So.
More than that.
But I'm on a drive to basically clean them both up. And the thing is, the Republicans have been the best, and the Democrats have gone the most radical. And I was there. I was JFK Democrat. I was there when they went that way, and they were going to get me elected, and they just laid out smear and fear. And I said, hey, I designed that for MJ-12. I said, you guys made a deal with MJ-12. They said, yeah, they're going to rule the world, and we're going to rule with them. I said, I'm out of here. And so I said, yeah, that's it. You know, and so I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the leadership of the Democrats, basically around 1970, they signed on to be the party for MJ-12. And look what they've done since 70. And the Republicans actually adopted JFK's platform. And I told him, I said, well, the Republicans adopted JFK's platform, so let's all get on the JFK platform. JFK wanted to do a Earth Space Exploration Corporation. And the three primaries would be, first, Russia and China, every country involved, every country participating, and every country profiting off of space exploration economy instead of a wartime economy. And we would have a lot more brilliant minds and a lot of strong bodies that wouldn't be in the graveyard if that's the way we would have gone. And I asked those guys, I said, why in God's green earth would you go that way? And they said, well, because it makes sense. It's population control and economy. And I said, man, you're taking our bravest, our brightest, and our strongest, sending, they're getting killed. And then you wonder why things are going downhill. We need the bravest, brightest, and strongest breeding more brave, bright, and strong.
Let me ask you this,
So,
because
that's why they,
yeah, let me ask you this, because this was just I haven't even watched anything on it, but allegedly, from according to the Fox News, Trump's going to give visas to 600,000 Chinese college students to come over to our universities. What do you think about that?
I haven't heard anything about that. And sometimes Fox once in a while will get a press release, and yeah, that not unless China really basically buckles under, But if China buckled under, even I wouldn't trust them on the backside. So, I that's one I really can't see. Now, if he's talking, let's say 50,000 per year over the next X number of years, rationing it out for a total of 600,000 over 12 years, then that might be a possibility and that would be a way to monitor the results.
Let's go find out. So hang on.
Yeah.
Says, especially after a string of incidents involving Chinese nationals connected to U.S. colleges.
No.
For President Trump looking to open the door for 600,000 Chinese students to come study at American universities, outraging some Republicans. A Manhattan Institute senior fellow posting this quote,
600,000 pro-American Chinese who want to be American.
In this quote, why are we allowing
country? I wouldn't blame them for
students
wanting
from
that.
China to replace our American students' opportunities? We should never allow that. And one commentator adding, quote, no serious nation would allow another 600,000 students from their foremost geopolitical adversary. Now, the announcement seemed to be a 180 from the administration's previous policy restricting Chinese student visas, especially after a string of incidents involving Chinese nationals connected to U.S. colleges. Back in June, 2 Chinese nationals were charged with smuggling a dangerous biological pathogen into the United States for their work at the University of Michigan. And 1 month later, a doctor was busted in Texas and charged with allegedly trying to smuggle cancer research back to China. And these are not isolated incidents. Over the past 5 years, a string of high-profile arrests of Chinese nationals connected to universities has put national security officials on high alert. Now, the White House putting out this statement to clarify, telling Fox News, quote, President Trump is not proposing an increase in student visas for Chinese students. The 600K references 2 years' worth of visas, which is simply a continuation of existing policy. Molly, I see you nodding. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm glad they offered that clarification because it sounded like there was this sudden.
Yeah.
There you go.
I guess so. It's been like 300,000 a year or whatever, but they're undoubtedly on that. If there's any problems, they can revoke it at any given time. Because I know Trump is a bit wary of China, and so
they should stop. They should stop all. Yeah, they should stop all immigration. They still have children they have not found yet. Illegal immigration children.
Yeah, I know.
So
now, and by the same token, Trump could be laying a trap for them too.
Right.
Let a wave in. They got problems, and then say, okay, here, we tried it. We tried to be good to them. Look, this is what they did. Boom, out. Because unfortunately, we've got so many Americans that, you know, you've got to basically prove to them that, you know, these guys are bad. Otherwise, Trump's bad, you know. So, and he's pretty good as far as like they say, he wrote The Art of the Deal. So there are a lot of times reverse psychology and stuff like that is in play. And he'll basically set up people learning a hard lesson, but learning it as controlled as possible for minimized damage.
Ow. Okay. Ah.
You all right? What happened?
Yeah, I have a bone chip that, man, every couple of years it'll work its way into my joint, and it gets in there, and it's like, every time I do my elbow. So yeah, it's just got to work its way back out. So yeah, I think we should stop all immigration. You know, we should catch up with what we got. And now, as you see, you know, I don't know if you know, you don't watch the news, but the alligator Alcatraz, that's getting shut down. Don't know if you know that.
Well, see, and the thing is, yeah, they're you know, there's a big outfit that's trying to kill the alligator Alcatraz and stuff, but that's part of the problem too. Is then he comes in ready to do a lot of strong stuff, and then a lot of people try to make a big resistance against it. So every once in a while, you know, we're going to have to basically say, okay, look here, boom, and let them see the bad that happens out of it. You know, sometimes if a kid keeps insisting on putting his hand in the fire, pretty soon you let him put his hand in the fire, get burnt, and then when he feels the pain, he doesn't do it anymore. So it's a hard call, especially when in America we've got free speech and everything, and there are so many different ideas out there that, you know, yeah, it's definitely not easy being the leader of this country. That's one of the reasons I really don't care much for DC, because there's so many, you get hit from so many different angles, you know. You got people hitting you from 47 different directions.
Yeah. Go into that. Explain that from being in the inner circle.
Okay. By way of example, well, you've got, matter of fact, then this is something I want to be sure to get into when we get the soldiers conference and stuff too. MJ-12 set themselves up to be, one, self-perpetuating, so that they survive no matter what. So by way of example, each one of the 12, his or her eye, very few hers, mostly his, on 12 more that they are working with, training, and getting going. And they try and cover every possible direction so that they can manipulate no matter what the direction is. So they've got a Hindu plan for getting Hindus to be radical. They've got a Buddhist plan for getting Buddhists to be radical. They got a Muslim plan for getting Muslims to be radical. They to a lot of your super conservative religious groups, like the Church of God or the Church of God in Christ, very controlling over their people. And they will be in fields like that. So every possible philosophy and field you can think of, they've got people in that field watching for people that they can manipulate or use. They will turn them, like they'll turn a Muslim, into one of their agents, and then they will train that Muslim to go home, and when some little thing happens, they will train that person to interpret it in a way that then people view that as, yep, that would have never happened if it wasn't for Israel. Israel's at fault. We hate Israel. Hamas has got to go. Got to go over there and just wipe them out. And are constantly in feeding world division and unrest. And so it's like tentacles that are just constantly going out and growing, or even like the roots of a tree. It goes in several different directions underground. And they use what sounds great to a person to get people going in a direction they want them to go in. And sometimes they'll even use that for motivation to get that person to do something they wouldn't normally do. Like a woman might lay down and have sex with a guy that she's not interested in, but it's permission. And next step, they got her being a harlot and giving them the money. You know? So they are experts in step by step getting those fields to go and grow. And when I was basically chosen, they let me know that when I first went in, I went from step 1 to step 2 as 1 out of 3,000. When I hit step 2, I went from step 2 to step 3 as 1 out of 3,000. And then I went from step 3 to step 4 as 1 out of 3,000. And I went from step 4 to step 5 as 1 out of 3,000. So I was the product of 3,000 times 3,000 times 3,000 times 3,000 times 3,000. And that's how they work. They will actually go that far out, and they're already pulling people in that are basically that far out, and they see somebody that they think they can basically pull down their little channel or their line, and they're pulling in masses so that if they harvest 1 or 2%, they got a million soldiers.
If they still have
then
that,
it's self-perpetuating.
that's if they have that
If
many
they
people.
what?
That's if they still have that many citizens in China, because there are reports they have less than 1 billion now. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Yeah, but right. But see, you take it, and MJ12 and those guys, they're working on China, they're working on India, they're working on Germany, they're working on France, they're working on England, they're working on America, they're working on Canada. So they're working on the entire world population. And they're looking for basically agents who will be at home in every single country, but do what MJ12 wants. And then they give them a rich lifestyle. And a lot of those people, especially in those impoverished countries, for money and, you know, hey man, you want to buy my mama? She's a cherry girl.
Right.
We ran into that in Vietnam. HEI, you want to buy my mama? She's cherry girl. So it's amazing in some of those countries what people will do. Yeah. And that's, you know, so, and people have got to realize that. And that's what DC's got to realize, because they keep trying to get DC to believe, number one, there aren't that many people in control. Well, there aren't that many people in control at any given time. That small group has masses ready to move up the chain of command to replace the ones that are gone as others are pulled out. It's like our skin. Our skin is constantly replenishing millions of cells so that we've constantly got a skin to cover our body. And MJ12 works the same way. They are the initiation that, like, the brain is basically dictating to my skin, and it's dictating to cells. So the brain is basically kind of like running everything with the body so that my skin will regenerate and everything. but there are millions of skin cells regenerating. And that's the way it is. MJ12 is the brain, but they go all the way out throughout the world for the skin of the body, all the way into the internal workings and the internal parts. So that's why they've got to get up. They got to get them all. They've got to root out enough of them to damage them super heavy, especially in the U.S. We're not going to be able to get all of them for the world. Satan's seat is going to be established. It has to for things to happen. But America and Israel are basically supposed to be the safe zone where good people are safe. We have to, number one, accept that, reach out for it, work toward it, and grab it, and seize it, and not let it go. But that's our part. God promises something. You know, it's like if you promised me, let's say, Noel, I'll give you $100 when we're down at the soldier thing, and I go give for that 100, and might even slip your mind. But a promise, then we normally have to do something, basically help that promise come to pass. If I skipped the event and I didn't even go, the promise might not come to pass. If I drove downtown recklessly and ended up in the hospital, that promise might not come to pass. So every promise of God has part 2 and 3. 1 is accepting that promise and claiming it. And 2, adding works to our faith to try and make sure that promise comes to pass.
Awesome. Hey, you still there, Noel?
Yeah, I'm here. You're frozen on my screen.
Ah, okay.
We're having a time with the boys tonight.
Yeah, we are. Let me kick some of this garbage out of here for now. And of course, here is the Super Soldier Activation Conference thumbnail for Noel Benoist. And right behind Noel, I'm going to add to the stage the host, James Rink.
Hello.
Hey, James.
How's it going? I'm trying to find good light. I'm doing great. How's everybody doing today?
Awesome.
Oh, we're doing fine, but boy, we're having a time with the boys. The boys are attacking this broadcast like crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to formally invite all your listeners to attend the Super Soldier Activation Conference, October 8th to the 12th. The 13th is a Universal Day. 14th we head on home. But so that's Wednesday to Sunday. Wednesdays are meet and greet, and then on Monday we'll go to Universal. If everybody wants to join us for that. So we have meal tickets. It's 100. The live stream tickets are $100, and then we have a general admission ticket. Those are $400, and then we have a VIP that includes all your meals. Those are $800. So I encourage everybody to join us. Now, with the VIP meals, you'll be able to sit next to Noel and be able to pick his brain. So you'll be able to get one-on-one time with Noel and all the other speakers. So we're expecting a great attendance, at least 500 people. And then we also have about 25 speakers. I lost track. I do have a few secret guests that I'm not going to publicly announce yet, but you'll find out when you attend the event in Orlando, Florida. Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, I don't.
Okay.
Oh, actually, do you have a speaking schedule yet? Who's going to speak on which
Yes.
day?
It's not public yet, but we're going to put that out there. So why don't you check the website maybe next week and we can get that uploaded. Sorry, that's a great question. We'll get that uploaded soon. We're also going to have a panel on Sunday. We have the Heroes of Disclosure Memorial. So we're going to honor our deceased SSP veterans, as well as people that were UFO disclosure experts that have died. Because, you know, in this community, a lot of people, when they die, like we just move on, right? Nobody really honors a lot of these folks. So we want to show honor, respect for the dead, and we're also going to honor the living too. So it's going to be it's called the Heroes of Disclosure Memorial. That's going to be Sunday. We're going to have live music, and you're going to enjoy it. So again, it's Orlando, Florida. Go to supersoldiercon.com, purchase your tickets, and come and join us for this amazing event. So thank you all.
Yeah, I've been sharing the screen. Let me get back over here.
And prayerful of the basically audio and visual problems we've got, people will realize that Deep State is heavy at work trying to mess this up. And that means that there's going to be some really hot stuff they can learn at the conference.
Yeah.
And some of the people who are in need to be at that conference, because all of us who were in, we're getting more and more whistleblowers, and we're getting more and more validity by coming together as a bigger and bigger group of everybody telling the truth.
Absolutely. We've had a few of our members had strokes. We had our one lady, she went into the hospital for heart problems. So I know a lot of us are being attacked. You know, it wasn't easy when I started off this event last year. I didn't quite get the support that I thought we would. For those of you who don't know, I'm not going to go into details on that, but you'll find out when you come to Super Soldier Con. And it's very important to support events like this, because not only are we going to share information, we're also going to provide a lot of healing. We have a lot of quantum energy healers, Reiki, massage therapists. They're going to come and try to help integrate you. We have it's a workshop pass. We have one lady, she's bringing in some, it's a Tesla coil, so she's going to do quantum energy healing. And yeah, so I think it's very important for all of you to join us, because we want this to not just be about disclosure, but to have a great time, to get healing. And yeah, you can all participate. So we have hotels, rooms that are on discount till September 8th. So that's about to end soon. I recommend you go to the website, Super Soldier Con, click the top part, the header, and it'll take you to the Avante's website and book a hotel room. The VIP food meals are going to stop on October 1st. So we're all getting near our deadline. So you should all join us and have a great time. Thank you all. Yeah, there's our sponsors there. So if you if you want to be a vendor, we do have a few more vendor spots. There are not many left. If you want to sponsor us, we love sponsors. So go ahead and send us a message on our website, and we have great sponsorship packages. Just help support the super soldiers, the secret space program insiders, because you know, we don't get support from the military. The United States Armed Forces, or really any planetary arm here on planet Earth, they do not support SSP disclosure. So a lot of these veterans served as private military contractors. So personally, I was with Nachtwaffen and Kruger, and also, I don't know, you call Monarch being serving there is more being used. But that's the whole goal, is to let the public know that these programs are real, and let's all come out and show solidarity and support for the SSP veterans. Thank you all.
Thank you.
That's right. Yeah. Coming together too, actually, coming together is really great and healing in many ways as we come together. You know, when I got together with you, and then Misha was there, man, the doors that opened when Misha and when she was talking and I realized who she was, you know, doors really open, and I've remembered even more. That's how I found that picture that I had, the old picture of MJ-12 that I had forgotten about. So it's basically a coming together for victory and for healing, and it does a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a good healer there. I can tell you that for a fact. Alfred, can recommend him. I did a session with him Thursday. Real good session. He's good.
Cool.
Yeah, he'll be there.
Yep.
There'll
I've
be a lot
had a lot of healings too. So, and Misha's had stuff. Misha's had stuff too. So,
okay.
yeah, there'll be
Yeah,
at least 3.
Yeah,
Or
sounds
more.
like a fun event. I hope I'll be able to attend it. I don't even know if I'll be able to do all the days, but I'll try to do what I can. I don't know if we lost James or not.
Amen.
But yeah, there's all kind of packages. If you want to be a vendor,
it's almost like a
yeah, even if you want to be a speaker, when we were at Sky Pony Gallery, Kiki Winters,
Yep.
Doug's wife,
Yep.
She's a comedian.
Yep.
So she's actually going to do a stand-up routine at the Super Soldier event.
Cool.
Yeah. So there'll be a wide variety of people.
One of my undercover jobs at one time was doing comedy and impersonation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're going to have a good variety, and I know it's a pretty good variety of people.
Oh yeah, definitely a good variety.
And a lot of people with really good hearts too.
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah, it'll be
and
a
the
fun
cool thing
event.
is, people there can basically be who they are. So it's a good place to pick up a lot of learning, a lot of growing, a lot of sharing, a lot of caring. Boom. Just almost like attending a gourmet potluck. Except
right
there you can get all you want. Potluck, you only eat so much. I never could eat everything at a potluck. Always wanted to try a little bit of every recipe, and I never could get it all.
So all right, got that set up. I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
James' photo is still kind of frozen.
Yeah, he's muted, and I don't know what happened to him. I'll kick him off until he comes back.
Yep, you got frozen. One thing I wanted to remember to mention too, and hopefully James will pick up on it. Anybody out there, if you hear kind of like a buzzing or a vibration inside your head, inside your ears, inside your skull area and stuff, we're aware of the sound laser in the book. And the sound laser, if you're getting kind of like buzzing or vibration inside your head, you hit with the sound laser. Take all the minerals and good stuff for your body you can. Because one of the biggest things that the sound laser does is lower the immune system. And then they basically subject people to various diseases or whatever, so they can claim that their enemy died of natural causes. But that sound laser can actually be turned up high enough and potent enough. You could use it in a tree and the tree would just disintegrate.
Right.
So it is a powerful. They can go in depth too. So they've done a lot of refinement with it. But pretty much buzzing. And anytime I feel
lost him. Had a feeling that was going to happen. And he's back. Maybe. Ring.
Basically, heal and replace anything that they might damage, including a lot of prayer. So it's faith and works. It's prayer, faith, and doing as the Lord leads, putting good stuff in my body, etc.
I've lost James as well. Life and times of a podcaster. But Audrey, let me get over here to your comment. I guess Noel, wait on him to come back on. I think we've lost James for the night. He's on vacation. That was very gracious of him to come on and do a little blurb for everybody, a little promo. Audrey, if I remember correctly, during Trump's first administration, he bragged that one of his grandchildren was learning Chinese so they can talk to the Chinese people in the leadership. Noel will tell you, just like I will tell you, these elite families, you know who they are. I don't have to mention any names. But they don't plan for next week, next month, next year, 2035. No, they're planning for 2060, 2070, 2080, 2090. Yeah, they're looking way forward, generation or two. So what did the Bush family, the Bush dynasty, what did old Jeb do? He married a short Mexican citizen. And they had 2 children, a boy and a girl. And the boy, George Prescott Bush. Went to law school, became a constitutional lawyer, did a little bit up there in Dallas. I think he ran for land commissioner, won that. And so he's dabbled a little bit in politics, but he hasn't stepped up to the stage. But guess what George Prescott Bush does? He speaks Espanol perfectly. So I wonder who he's going to be talking to in Espanol. I don't know, didn't a couple of those people come over here that speak Espanol like in the last decade or so? See how they plan so far out in the future? Oh, we got Noel back. I thought, maybe, hopefully. He's in Wall Land. I've been there. MDMA. He is froze.
There we go. Whoops. Whoop, whoop.
All right, maybe. Nope. All you can do is laugh, folks. All you can do is laugh. There he is again.
There we go. Yeah.
Man, we
There
got
we
a clean
go.
signal.
So who was it that speaks Espanol? Got a clean signal. All right.
George Prescott Bush.
Oh, is that right? Ah, good. We can have a little good time. Yo como con mi por 15 años.
He's here in
Estuve en la
Texas.
escuela por 2 años, pero no hablar por 40 años.
I don't know if the public's
Have some
gonna,
fun. I get some of my Spanish practice.
Yeah, I don't know if the public's going to want another Bush in office. I think we probably had enough Bushes. We definitely don't have any more freeways, tollways, statues, buildings, schools to name after the Bushes. We already got Bush Airport, Bush Tollway,
Yeah.
Bush this, Bush that. Yeah.
So is he actually relation to the Bush family or to the Bush family?
He's Jeb Bush's son.
Oh, okay. That were me and names. That's cool.
Remember, they do things
Yeah,
50 years out. So they had Jeb.
I did some stuff. I did some stuff.
100% Mexican.
Yeah.
So they would have children that would look Hispanic, speak Hispanic, and be able to talk to Hispanics. It's America, ain't it? No, they wouldn't do something slick like that. Yeah. And then they bought all that land in Paraguay.
That's good place to grow mangoes.
Yeah, except it's the number one exporter of narcotics in South America.
Yeah, well, that's where you got to take
I said that out loud. I'm probably going to get knocked off now. I'm not suicidal.
Oh, they got to take the seed from the mango and start using the slingshot.
Oh, they're using the rivers. They're using the rivers to move it. And they move it out to the ports. Yeah, I've watched a whole bunch of videos on that. They're the largest landowner in that country. The Bush family. Lost Noel again. Yeah, usually he pops right back on, but he didn't. So if y'all missed it, here, I'm going to throw this banner up. I don't know what day he'll be speaking. I know James is slammed. I know that for a fact. Putting on the conference like that is very stressful. Causes a lot of anxiety. But you got to fill the seats, or otherwise it comes out of your pocket and you lose money.
Yeah, that's the thing about jungles. Jungles are too easy to hide in. Jungle is rough war territory for any kind of war.
War, period. It doesn't matter if it's in a jungle, in a city, in the sand, in the ocean, in the air.
Yep.
War sucks.
Jungle war is a little bit more difficult though. You know.
Yeah. Still war. Still people shooting.
With some bullet they've got, they'll penetrate.
Yeah, it seemed like things would have to be a lot slower in the jungle.
Yep. Yeah, that's why they was accused for using Agent Orange, anti-defoliant. It got us too, big time.
Right. Lost him again, and he may be back. There he is, popping in and out.
We're having a blast.
He's going on and on and on.
People are seeing a lot of this. If they're seeing a lot of this, they're very
You're totally buffering. You're totally buffering.
Yeah. See, and on my end, it's smooth, but it's going out buffered. The boys are good at that.
Right. Let me see. I'm sending a message to.
We go boop, 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 boop. Yeah. That's the thing. The boys have been in charge of electronics for many decades.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I try to get DC to realize when it comes to electronics and communications, you know, that's a realm where they are like God in that electronic and communications field. They do pretty much anything they want. And I mean, they can be disaster anytime they want to be. They can be a great aid anytime they want to be. That's their mastery.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, because it happened way after you left the NSA, but they basically have a skiff in the middle of the AT&T building in New York City. So they get everything.
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Yep.
Basically turned into an NSA building.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So over to Orlando. when are you going to Orlando? And how long are you going to stay? Are you going to be there
I'm
from
going
the
to be
8th,
I'm
14th?
going to be there the whole time. I'm going there. I'll be over there the 8th, and then I'll be leaving after we do the Universal tour.
Okay. I'm just not a big amusement park guy. My dad used to work at Astro World
Yeah.
when I was a child, and every summer it was all the Astro World you can take. It was
Yep.
great. My
Yep.
mom got rid of me all day, and I come
Yeah.
home wore out. Big old stack of souvenirs that I'd give to all the kids in the apartments, and I was a
Oh
big
wow.
shot. Yeah, because they couldn't
Yep.
even afford to go to Astro World.
Yeah. With me, I go to something like that. I just more or less look at what they're doing today. Look at kind of like compare it to when we filmed The Quick and the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the mountain man on The Quick and the Dead, and just kind of see some of the progress that they're doing. Of course, now, man, oh man, I did it. We went to one of the Disneyland deals, and you go through the haunted mountain, and all of a sudden you got this ghost sitting next to you, talking to you. Did you ever see that one?
I did not. I went
Oh
went
yeah,
there. Jesus, how old
yeah.
was I? I might have been 12. I don't think I was 12. I could have been a little bit younger than that. But yeah, we went with the family, took an RV down there, my parents, their parents, and God, I don't know how many kids there were. I'm sure we drove them bananas the whole way there and back.
Yeah. Well, the first time we went to Disneyland, we went to the Matterhorn, and so I'm the macho boy, right? And my mom, this little old dainty gal, about 4'11", 80
Mhm.
pounds, and so I hear people screaming and hollering. So I go into the Matterhorn, and the first time I went, all the thing did was just go round and round and round and round, and I couldn't see why everybody was. She can get scared, and I'll sit there and laugh at mom. So, but we went into the line on the other side. So we go up to the top of the mountain, and all of a sudden that thing drops about 20, 30 feet. I'm screaming. Mom's laughing, and I'm screaming because I know that rail's gone, man. We're headed all the way to the bottom.
That's funny.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that my little trap got me on that one. But I enjoy some things like that, little things like that are amusing. I like those, but it's the deep state stuff that when they use technology the wrong way, that's then that's no dope. Well, yeah. So, and I hope our army just keeps building and building. And I'm really hopeful that we're going to really put the pressure on DC to stop the money garbage, get back to getting in touch with their constituency, knowing what their constituency wants, communication, representation, and I would love to see an end to the DC parties. Those guys that's never ceased to. I mean, that just gets me. $1 million party is nothing to them. $2 million party, $3 million party, man. So, yep. I'm hoping that all of this stuff grows. People see that they've got to be involved and stay involved.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I got to wrap it up. I
Well,
got my dog over here sweating me. She needs to go outside.
there you go. Well, we had a very interesting setup this time with the deep state fights and everything.
Right.
And,
Yeah. I mean, now that we've said everything, you're clear as a bell.
Yeah, they'll let us wrap it up smooth. Yeah, exactly. See, And that should tell people something, that should tell people something. So I just keep calling out, wake up, America.
Yeah, I'm just a moron sitting in front of my laptop having some fun.
Yeah, wake up, America.
I can't make people wake up. I can't make them listen. I can't make them get enlightened. I can't activate them.
Yeah.
So
the fortunate thing is we've all got choice, and the unfortunate thing is we've all got choice. Yeah, there are times you definitely like to take that choice away.
That was a good close.
But yep. There you go.
All right. I'm going to set up some shows for this week. I'm working on my writ of habeas corpus. So to take my mind off focusing strictly on legal work, I'm doing other things.
There you go.
So, yeah, I'll be doing another show with you. So if you can think up a topic that you want to talk about that we haven't discussed yet for the book, get that handy.
Okay.
So I know I'm doing Tanawa Downing tomorrow night. Monday, I don't know who I will do. Could be Ann. I know some folks over at the Republic of Texas. They want to come on the show. I want to do a show with them as well. So there'll be some people.
Maybe get a hold of Misha.
Do you have her contact information?
I know James has it.
Okay. Well, I can get it from James.
She was going to get it to me, I think. Yeah. James has it, I know.
Okay.
And matter of fact, I think she was going to get it to me, and I got a chance, or it just, I forgot,
Well,
so I'm going to try and grab it, especially when we have the conference.
Yeah. Our mutual friend that introduced me and James will be here probably tomorrow. So we're going to work on some stuff. So we'll get all that handled.
Cool.
So got it. All right, man. Thank you for another great show. I appreciate it.
All right.
Have a good night.
Love you, man. Love what you do. I wish everybody out there were doing the same thing as far as getting out and doing everything possible.
Yep. It is what it is.
And,
all right.
Yep.
Good night.
It's a call to arms, and our words are the strongest arms we've got.
There you go. Bye. Freaking Noel. Oh no, he kills me. Here's his thumbnail for the Super Soldier Activation Conference. There's going to be a wide variety of speakers there. You may notice over time between, I don't know, a month ago and up to the actual event that some of the speakers may change. Some have committed to other events or another event or something. So some people have pulled out, but some have been replaced. So you're going to get a wide variety of speakers and topics. I know there's going to be somebody from the Florida Assembly. You're going to have Mike Barra there. You're going to have Noel there. You're going to have energy healers there. All just, it's going to run the spectrum. So if you get a chance to attend, please attend. Do it now while you still have tickets available. I know there's a limited number of seats, and I had that somewhere, and I don't remember where I had it. So once all the seats are gone, that's a wrap, because he can't get, they can't take down an air wall and add more seats. So, yeah, it is what it is. But tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, I will have Tanawa Downing. If you're not familiar who he is, you can go to tanawa.com. He's a nationwide advocate fighting the corrupt family courts and child services. he has hooked up with Jessica. Oh God, what's her last name? Oh man, I should have it, but yeah, I don't have it in here. There's no names, but yeah, if you get a chance to hear her speak, you should go over to Facebook and check her out. She's a badass. So maybe she'll come on the show. Hopefully, I'd love to have her as well. Definitely two voices. I have to make a redemption for my past, and this is part of my redemption. This is part of me doing the right thing at the right time when nobody's looking. So nobody asked me to do this. Nobody reached out to me to have Tanawa on the show. I saw that there's a Facebook event. I was also, approached by some ladies up at the Sky Pony Gallery event regarding their children and CPS, and how do we get our children back? How are we able to even visit our own children? When I hear stories like that, it just, man, sucks. I can't believe that we live in such a sick judicial system. And, sick is literally, figuratively, and applicable. And, that goes with the full definition of sick: depraved, ill, terminable, go on and on and on. So I showed you earlier in the video what I had personally experienced in my own court settings. And, I can go through almost every one of my cases and give you some type of example of fraud or corruption by the court or by one of the, parties that work for the government or for the court. And this is the same thing that, these families are going through. Generally it's just one parent, mother or father. There's no gender gap now. There's fathers out there who just as destitute as these mothers, haven't seen their children in, umpteen years. Maybe there might be some baseless false accusations of, that shit will get you thrown in prison. So it's a topic that I like to cover, and I think it's not covered enough by enough people on social media. I think too many people are chasing the fluff, because we still have, all those illegal immigrants that came through here, all those children. They still haven't found those children. They still don't know where they are. They don't know if they're dead, alive, in a brothel. They don't know where they're at. So we got some serious issues in this country, and a lot of them need to be fixed. And it's, unless we the people fix it, it's not going to change. We're going to get the same old, and it's going to get worse. Wait till the AI gets here, and the AI is running everything. You think these idiot politicians, you think they're insane and crazy? You think your government's insane and crazy? Wait till AI gets control and runs everything and knows everything that you're doing. Why? Well, it's a national security issue. We got to crack down on the illegal immigrants. We got to get everybody out of the country. And it's 3 generations deep that are now U.S. citizens by birth, because they were born here, to U.S. citizens that were born to illegal immigrants, but their birthright citizenship. And now we're 2 generations deep into U.S. citizens. And the only way to discover who those are, through all the databases in states and counties and parishes in Florida and Louisiana, AI. How are you going to find them? Facial recognition, database searches, everything's got to be registered. Central bank digital currency. It's coming, folks. I'm telling you, when it comes, you're going to be overwhelmed with it. So while the big, beautiful bill did not strip all states from regulatory authority over AI, you better get your state acting on AI, on regulatory, licensing, laws. They still haven't caught up to crypto. And that's been around for a hot minute now. So imagine what AI is. Imagine if somebody that just doesn't like people, doesn't like life, or hates just a specific race of people and wanted to eliminate just that race. Everybody has the capability now with AI. You can become a chemist with AI. Yeah, that's where we're at. So a lot going on, folks. So I can't wait. I got a good show. I did get my record, part of it. That's why I was able to show you that document. Let me show you another one. Okay, let me show you another one. Get that out of the way. Anyway, this book is available on Amazon. You can order them from the fearlessfloydshow.com/store. All right. Share screen. Show you this, baby. I'm going to cover some more on this as well, but where's it at? Sometimes the share screens ain't worth a crap. There we go. All right, right here. This is a formal notice of appeal on their instrument. And you see it's from August 18th, 2006. And it's from the County Criminal Court at Law, number 8. Oh, I'm sharing. Whoops. I hit the wrong damn button. Sorry about that. Oh, gotta go all the way back. There we go. All right, right here. So you see petitioner pro se. Judge presiding, Judge J. Carahan. Bail is set at $1 million. You heard that. You read that. And here you go, folks. Here's my order with my $1 million appeal bond. After multiple motions and mandamus writs for bond reduction, it was finally reduced to $250,000. Make up your own mind regarding why Judge Carahan set an appeal bond at $1 million for a 30-year-old DWI. That's a misdemeanor DWI, in which punishment was 30 days in jail and a $100 fine, both completed. Do you think I had those folks' attention? I'm $1 million man. How many $1 million appeal bonds? How many $1 million bonds do you see on people? You got to be a big player. Get that kind of notoriety. I try to tell you folks, man, I'm the real freaking deal, man. I've been there, done that, got the freaking scars, Band-Aids. Yeah. And I'm going to go through more of my record. I've got I'm telling you, I was insane. I'd lost my goddamn mind when I was in prison. There's no possible way I could do all the legal work that I was doing. I mean, you should see some of this stuff that I was doing with a typewriter in a prison cell. Yeah, pretty crazy. All right. Texas, what you got here? I have a feeling that guy's a Satanist. I don't know what reference you're discussing there. Spirituality, topic. Yep. But anyway, those are just, man, scintilla of some of the bullshit they put me through going through these courts. So I can't even imagine what some of these mothers and fathers are going through, and shelling out, their last of their savings to pay for this hired gun to stand next to them and basically do nothing. So now you're out, 10, 15 grand. You don't have your kids. You don't have visitation rights. You don't have any more money. You're having to pay child support. Your wages are getting garnished. Everything you're throwing at the court's just getting ignored. Literally. That's what's going on, folks. And I must stand corrected because in a couple previous videos, and I had no idea that there's now a 15th District Court of Appeals in Austin, Texas, which will handle appeals of all cases dealing with suits against the state entities, or state and government officials, among others, as an overflow. So the actual third COA, Austin, was handling those. So now they have a separate court. So I do stand corrected. I learned that on my own. Nobody told me. I had to go look. I was like, what? 15 courts? When that happened? And obviously it happened last year in 2024. So now I have 15 courts of appeal. But yeah, the system's so whacked. It's pathetic. And I can't even imagine, being in prison trying to litigate, because that's just, oh my God. You want to talk about suppression of meaningful access to courts? That would be the Texas prison system. They don't want you knowing anything about the law. They don't want you to get it when you need it. They're going to spoon feed it to you as you beg for it. Absolutely. So, all right. Noel Benoist, October 8th through the 14th at the Wyndham iDrive Avanti Resort and not a casino in beautiful Orlando, Florida. Go get your tickets at supersoldiercon.com. Speaking lineup should be posted within the next 2 weeks. Go get your tickets. Limited seats are available. If you haven't gotten your 200-year plan 2025 edition yet, you can go to thefiguresfloatshow.com and get it, or you can go to Amazon. It's on Kindle. And coming in 2025, later this year, The Pedagogy of Noel, which is his autobiography, the life story of Noel Benoist, that we are putting together. So I appreciate each and every one of you. And got the outro coming up. So thank you very much. Appreciate you. Y'all have a good night. Oh, everybody have a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. Don't leave on vacation and come back on probation. Thank you for hanging around after the show. I want to present to you Tailor Made Trust, featuring and LaFleur's Trust Series, available at tailormadetrust.com, as well as the fearlessfloydshow.com store. Here are a handful of the available trusts that can be built, custom tailored to your needs and desires. 25 different trusts, plus the DNA trust addendum. And as always, Anne LaFleur's classic trusts and ancillary classes, and also Anne's books on trust and specialty trust, which I also co-authored. If you'd like to get a class, a book, or have a trust custom built for you, always available at the fearlessfloydshow.com store. And I'll see you in the next show. Thank you for watching and have an awesome day.